Okay, Mr. Grant, of course, tourism and transportation go hand in hand. In fact, we could never imagine tourism without transportation, whether that be sea, land, or air. And air transport is extremely important to tourism. We not only have the cruise ships coming, but we have the airlines coming as well. There have been some critics who have said that we are heavily subsidizing the airline industry, and that because of that, tourism is not really making a profit because there's so much subsidy being given to the airline industry. Is there any truth to that?
I must negate that fact right away, Ms. Roy. The industry operates on two levels. That is the transportation industry in terms of airline. They operate on a marketing strategy on the one hand, and they operate on an MRG on the other hand, which is a minimum revenue guarantee. In most of the airlines in Kitts and Nevis, we have minimum revenue guarantees, which is the MRGs. So for example, we are just bringing United Airlines here for the very first time. The inaugural flight is on December the 19th out of Newark, New Jersey. We have just signed an MRG with them of 1.3 million US dollars, which is about a little short of 4 million EC dollars. Now what does that mean? It doesn't mean that we pay United Airlines $1.3 million. It means that we put $1.3 million in an escrow account agreed by both parties, on a bank agreed by both parties, just in case we fall below the load factor that's acceptable. So let me explain that. So for example, the United Flight Company, there is an expected load factor the airlines will have to make to ensure that there's profitability on the end. If we don't go above that benchmark, then they have to draw down on the MRG, which is 1.3 million US dollars. We don't expect that to happen because we have done our research, we have done our investigation, and coming out of that eastern seaboard, Newark, New Jersey and the surrounding counties, we have found out that they are the 10 richest counties in that area. And we expect, because of the apartheid also, the draw on them will be such that we won't have to draw down on our MRG. But that's futuristic. And people may say, well, are you sure? How are you certain? Etc. But let's draw on the past now then. We have also an MRG with American Airlines. And that MRG with American Airlines coming out both out of JFK in New York and Miami is 1 million US dollars. So just like the United, we have put 1 million US dollars on an escrow account for American Airlines to draw down in the event that we don't meet the benchmark. And you may ask me as well, have you paid over the last 5 years? Not 1 cent. Why? Because the JFK route and the Miami route is working well. If you have traveled recently out of Miami, you can't find a single seat. As a matter of fact, I had a gentleman in my office yesterday who said to me he came down on the flight, I think it was Sunday, out of Miami, and there was not one empty seat. And because of that, we don't have to draw down on an MRG. So although that we have the money on the account, just in case it doesn't operate with efficiency and they draw down on it, we have not drawn down on an MRG. Now, that's the MRG side. With British Airways, which comes out of London, we don't have an MRG with them, so we don't put down the 1.3 or the 1.2 or the 1 million US dollars. What we do, we have a marketing fund with them. So if this year we decide as a team in the Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, we decide we are going to spend $2 million promoting St. Kitts and Nevis in the United Kingdom, we spend that on our own. And what British Airways will do, British Airways will match that money. So if we spend 2 million, they spend 2 million. If we spend 1 million, they spend 1 million. So it depends upon what we spend, how they now in tune spend for that, and that is the area with British Airways. The short answer to that is that we do not subsidize international transport. We provide minimum revenue guarantees, but we have not yet been in a position that we draw down on them from American Airlines and USA, etc. And I must say, USA has now merged with American Airlines. So our additional MRG that we have with USA now rolls into the one with American Airlines.